Game Breakfast. I'm live here at MeepleCon in Las Vegas. And
we're here too.
Welcome to MeepleCon.
We're here too. What are you doing? What does this do?
Hello. I am your father.
Guys, we can do this later.
I am your father.
Nick, it's cool that we're in 2 segments.
What's in here?
What's Thomas Parker? What's going on here?
All right.
We'll get out of here. Bye, guys.
Go. Anyway, so anyway, there's going to be no weekend review this week. We're going to do a double weekend review next week. There will be no Q&A today. We're going to do it tomorrow on Tuesday. But there's lots of stuff coming from the Dice Tower. So enough of this nonsense. Let's get to the news. Okay, folks, well, there is a lot of news this week. Suzanne is not going to be able to make this episode because of just things going on, and so she'll be back next week. But for now, I got the news, and there is a ton of news. So much that I didn't even bother putting it all in this show. So let's get started. A lot of this news is coming from Gamma announcements, and this week we're going to show you a Gamma, a press, they did a press conference where different companies came, so you'll watch that. But here are some highlights. First, IDW is making a Sonic the Hedgehog Crash Course game. This is another Sonic the Hedgehog game, but this one looks pretty good. I mean, well, it looks good anyway, with some cool miniatures. It's based on the Green Hill Zone. IDW is also making Death Note Confrontation. This is based on the anime series Death Note, where there's this guy who can write people's names in a book and then they die. So that's kind of a whole thing. And so it's a 2-player game. You are the killer kid or versus the detective trying to figure out who he is. Cryptozoic is making a game called Pantone. This is a color swatch game where you are using color swatches to make a person. And then you give clues as to who that person is. So maybe the person has green hair and you'll be like, oh, that might be the Joker. Tabletop Network Board Game Design Retreat is on Kickstarter right now. This is being run by Tim Fowers, who made paperback and hardback. It's going to have a lot of big name designers like Rob Daviau, Jeff Engelstein and stuff. And it's on June this year. So they're running a Kickstarter for this, and you can go to this conference. It's not like a gaming conference. It's like to go and learn about games and listen to great game designers and share information. You can even get a virtual pass to it. Renegade is now working with Frosted Games to make a game called Rykult. I think that's how it's pronounced. This is an Uwe Rosenberg game in which farmers they're doing veggies again? Okay, well this one's in Iceland, and they're using geothermic energy. Rosenberg, what's with all the farmers and veggies? Come on now. All right, let's see. The Harvard Library has a new thing where they're showing off historical games, old games that are awful actually, but they have historical significance, and you can even, they've done nice scans of them. You can print them out and make these yourself. Renegade Games has now the license for Power Rangers. That's all I know. They'll be making some games about this. Some people are going to love that, some people won't. Renegade also is making the West Kingdom trilogy. This is going to be coming to Kickstarter. This is like similar to the North Sea trilogy, Renegades of the North Sea and so on, or Raiders of the North Sea. And so the first game in this is called Architects of the West Kingdom. This is where they take that really cool Vikings theme, and now they're making it a kind of boring trading in the Mediterranean type thing. But hey, it looks really good. It's done by the same designer, Shem Phillips. Okay, USAopoly has the license to Samurai Jack. Back to the Past, this game is called. It's coming out summer 2000 this year. Andrew Wolf is a designer, and it's going to have some really cool custom minis. It looks really neat. I never did watch that cartoon. Maybe I should. WizKids has announced a pretty big thing. A Magic the Gathering board game, Heroes of Dominaria. This is a Euro-style game. It's going to have miniatures, and it will have their 2-tier system. Buy a box of painted miniatures, buy unpainted. But either way, it's kind of a Euro game style thing. Osprey Games is making an expansion for Lost Expedition, The Fountain of Youth. Has some artwork. It's going to change the game up in different ways. And Bezier Games has announced the Ultimate Werewolf Legacy. This is kind of an interesting thing. I've known about this for a while now. They've been working on this, and I'm still curious to see how this will work. To take Werewolf and make it a legacy game. You're going to have a moderator. People's special ability are going to gain special abilities that go from game to game. There's an 80-page diary. You're going to be able to buy a recharge pack like other things. I'm ready to be convinced. This comes out at Gen Con 2018, but I'm having a hard time seeing how Werewolf can be made into a legacy game. To get that many people together for several games in a row, but hey, maybe it will work. Monster Apocalypse is coming out from Privateer Press, a second edition. It's 10 years ago it came out the first time. It was a collectible game which got these pre-painted miniatures and buildings. It was a really cool thing. they're coming out with a second edition. They changed the rules and things. It's not compatible. And it's also not put together or painted. You're going to put models together, glue them together, and paint them. I don't know if I like that idea, but people who like miniatures might think it's great. And of course, it looks like Pacific Rim the way the game is set up. But hey, so finally, in the last piece of news, Toys R Us is announcing that they're shutting down all the rest of their stores. We already knew they had hit bankruptcy. They closed down many of their stores. The rest are closing down. I'll talk about that a little bit more in the episode. Let's keep going.
Hello guys, I'm Cardboard Rhino and welcome to Rhino Says Yes. Today I brought a really good game that's all about bluffing and reading your friends. Let's have a look at Skull. Skull, or Skull and Roses, is a strategy party game where up to 6 players get a set of discs each matching the tribe design of their playing mat. 3 of them have flowers at the back and 1 of them has a skull. Beginning a round, each player plays a face-down disc and then each can add an extra one on top of the previous in clockwise order. If you have played all your discs or don't want to play an additional one, then you issue a challenge. To do that, you have to announce the number of discs you intend to reveal, being confident that they're all roses. Then proceeding clockwise, each player must increase the bid on the previous challenge or pass. When everyone has passed, the player with the highest bid is the challenger and must attempt the challenge. As the challenger, you must flip one by one all of your own discs and then continue to flip discs of other players in the order you choose, reaching the total number of your bid. If all the discs flipped are roses, then the challenge succeeded and you flip your mat flower side up. If it was already flipped by having already won a previous challenge, you are the winner of the game. If you flip a skull at some point, then the challenge has failed. Everyone gets their discs back, but you have to lose one of your own for good. Skull is the living proof that a game doesn't need a lot of components or rules to be fun. It's a great party game with very funky illustrations. It's not a game of luck, it's an opportunity to get to know your friends a bit better and their bluffing skills and to practice your own poker face, which I need to do a lot more. There's also Skull and Roses Red, which allows each player to control 2 tribes, and also when combined with the first Skull game, you can play with more than 6 players. So Rhino says yes to Skull. You should give it a try.
So what's coming from the dice this week? Well, it all comes down to one word, and that word is gamma. We're going to be doing a lot of gamma.
Gamma was awesome.
We were not invited.
We were there because we're part of this industry now.
So, gamma, we're going to be doing a lot of videos about gamma. We're going to be talking about, we did a lot of interviews last week, and so you're going to see all those interviews this week. We're also going to be doing a few other things, talking about some great design podcasts on DicetowerNetwork.com.
Hi, Mike Delisio from Solomode Games. Today I want to talk about distractions in board gaming. Do you ever find yourself getting distracted when you play a game? I want to talk specifically about music, background music during board gaming. I know that there are some people that really enjoy doing this. They'll create a kind of a mood music for their game, and they'll either make a playlist or put something on an app that will be in theme with the particular game. So perhaps if it's a game that's set in Japan, they might have some Japanese music playing in the background. And this is something where, in idea, in theory, I think that sounds amazing. I mean, I think that sounds really cool, but I think that I would be incredibly distracted by it. And one of the reasons why I think this is that I actually had, at a recent game night, somebody that just started playing little snippets of music, just jokingly, when we were starting to play a game. And I found myself getting almost anxious about it because it was distracting me from playing the game. And I started to feel horrible about that, quite honestly, because they weren't doing anything mean-spirited or anything wrong. I think the problem was with me. And I just wonder, do other people have this issue? Now, I don't have a problem with talking or having a discussion while I'm board gaming, but for some reason that music was distracting to me. Now, I play the game Meeple Circus, and that has music as a part of it, and that doesn't bother me at all because that's part of the game, and I feel like that's just immersing me in what I'm doing. So that doesn't really apply here, but just kind of having this background music was something that was distracting to me, and made me wonder, maybe that's one of the things that makes me interested in solo gaming, is the idea that I can just completely focus on what I'm doing and I have no outside distractions. But I was wondering, am I the only one with this issue? Let me know in the comments below. Do you like to make music backgrounds for your games? Do you find it distracting as well? I really would love to hear what your thoughts are on this. Thank you so much for your time, and have a great day.
Hey there everyone, it's Jen, the board game librarian, flipping some pages and pushing some cubes with this week's segment of From the Page to the Table. We're going to take a serious turn this week with one of my all-time favorite books and all-time favorite games. This week's selection is All Quiet on the Western Front, Missing Its Dust Jacket, by Eric Maria Remarque, and I'm sorry if I've said that name incorrectly. I picked this out for a classics book club that I run a couple of years ago, and I must tell you, it's one of the most profound books I've ever read. Told from the perspective of a German soldier, it's also very nice seeing both sides of the coin during World War I. I felt it on a deeply personal level too, since my father is an active combat Vietnam veteran, a Marine, and was in Da Nang. And the scene especially where the main character goes back home and you see how he struggles to fit in, it really touched me, and I felt it because I felt it in my own life. One of my all-time favorite board games as well is The Grizzled. I talk about it a lot on Favorite Game Friday, and if you've ever met me and talked with games with me, I mention The Grizzled a lot. A cooperative game for 2 to 5 players, published by CMON Limited. It also has deeply profound connotations as well because of what had happened to the illustrator who was killed in a Paris attack. You can't talk to each other. You really struggle. You feel the soldier's perspective. You understand on a very superficial level, I think, what a soldier goes through. On that note, I'll see you next week, and I'll see you on Instagram.
What's up, everyone? I'm Danny.
And I'm Derek, and this is You Bet Your Bippy.
In this segment, we're going to give you some fun facts about a specific game so you can strike up a conversation at your next game night. Today's board game, we are going to give you some fun facts about
Sagrada.
Sagrada is a dice drafting game with a lot of puzzly elements, and
The goal of the game is to fill the stained glass windows of the beautiful Sagrada Familia.
Now, Danny, did you know that Antoni Gaudi didn't like straight lines, so he used the curves of nature as inspiration for the exterior of the cathedral?
wow, are you serious?
You bet your bippy.
Well, did you know that the full name of the Sagrada is the Basilica y Temple Expiatory de la Sagrada Familia?
Are you serious?
You bet your bippy.
Well, did you know that it's going to take longer to build the La Sagrada Familia than it would for an Egyptian pyramid?
Are you serious?
You bet your bippy. The construction started in 1882 and won't be complete until at least 2026. Long time.
Well, did you know that Antoni Gaudi, he actually passed away in 1926 and he's actually buried there.
Oh, wow.
But when he was on his deathbed, he said that he was in no rush to finish because the big man upstairs doesn't really have a timeline.
Really?
You bet your bippy.
Whoa. Did you know any of these fun facts about La Sagrada Familia? Or do you have any fun facts of your own you'd like to share? Please do so in the comments below.
And make sure you guys follow us all over social media. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And we'll see you guys next week. Happy breakfast.
Happy breakfast.
Two brothers set loose in a thrift store. This is Thrift Store Throwbacks.
Dude, what are you doing? I'm making throwing stars, dude. Look at these. Look at these cool things. No, yeah, right. You're dead now. No, you're dead now.
We need these pieces for circus review. Like,
What do you mean?
yeah.
These. So I can't make throwing stars? Obviously we can. This game's gonna suck. It just takes like 5 minutes. But, you know, then we'll mix it. Yeah. Forget the game. So this is a circus. This is a game where you're going to be trying to put all of these random shapes and things to create circles and stars to score points. So we saw that there's a star here and a circle. That's how you score points. But the trick is that if whoever played last, you have to touch what they played. So in this case, I could play like maybe my big triangle will fit there. And then Nick's going to go and he's going to put something there. And then I'm going to try to figure out something for this weird piece. Maybe there, and so on and so on and so forth. And basically, every time you complete stars and circles, you're going to score points. So the first person to 40 points, so the first person to get their last piece down wins. So that was Circus. Scores really well. What do you think of this game, man?
Oh, it's not good.
It's not good. We did a review of a game called like Da Vinci Challenge, and it was sort of the similar thing, but with more freedom and flexibility. This is just not fun because you have all these pieces, but they really can only go into the spots that are predestined for them, and it's just like, see if you can spot where it should go.
Yeah, I mean, it's not fun.
I guess there's strategy to a degree about like, oh, what pieces can I save that are kind of more flexible than others, but it's, you could do without this one.
Yeah,
Fair to say.
No need to grab. I mean, if you had kids or something like that, it might be worth it. But even then, I'm just like,
when the High School Musical 2 memo pad that came with the game is more valuable than the game itself, you know that you maybe wasted some money at the thrift store.
Is there anything in here?
Yeah. What are the? Oh my God! The innermost thinking of kids.
That is graphic.
Wow. That's going to be it for us, you guys. Check us out on social media. And this Wednesday, we have a new episode of our hit podcast, This Game is Broken, coming out. So do give that a listen. Your ear holes will thank you.
Yes, indeed.
And until next time, we'll see you in the thrift store.
We'll see you there.
Seriously, if there's an earthquake, this thing's going to turn into a frag grenade.
Hey everybody, it's Christina from Girls Game Shelf, and today I want to talk about games that make for great equalizers. In the group that I play with on our show, we have a big range of players. We have people who've been playing games for a very long time, people who are completely new, and in those people, just a big variation of interests. Whenever we pick a game, a lot goes into thinking about what's something that everybody will be able to enjoy. And here are my 3 criteria for choosing a game that equalizes all of your players. So first and foremost, it's good to have a game that's just silly. It's just the icebreaker game that makes everyone feel like they're on equal footing. And for that, I can't recommend Happy Salmon enough. In Happy Salmon, the goal is to get rid of your cards first. And in order to do that, you have to make some kind of insane gesture that's on your card and find another person that is making the exact same gesture. It's silly and ridiculous and fun and fast. So it gets everyone to be friends or enemies really quick. After you're done with your super silly ice-breaking game, whatever you picked, it's great to hit them with a dice rolling game. Dice rolling games are excellent because when you mix in the element of chance, it takes a lot of pressure off of the people that don't feel really confident in games that take a lot of strategy. I really recommend Nations, the dice game, because there's a great mix of luck and strategy in this game, and it plays quickly. In Nations, you are rolling your dice in order to collect your resources, and you spend those resources, dice, to buy tiles that allow you to upgrade to different dice that let you get more things. Another great game for this is Bang, the dice rolling game, because Bang is a dice rolling game, a social deduction game, which is also really good for players of different experience levels, and it's so easy to get into the role-playing aspect of it because those character cards have some great flavor text on them. And if all else fails, the third kind of game that I recommend bringing to the table is one that's just really beautiful. When all else fails, just dazzle them. Obviously, there are so many beautiful board games. There's Azul, there's Sagrada. I hear that Not Dice is really beautiful. But the game that I'm going to recommend is called Tempera. It's real. The artwork is gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's adorable. And it's ridiculous. It's all of these cats doing crazy things. The whole point of the beautiful artwork category is to get people to talk to each other. Like, even if you are feeling intimidated about the game or if you're feeling bored, it doesn't really matter because everybody has something to say about this cat that is chopping watermelon. To quote my friend Chris Mitchell, it is both fierce and adorable. So those are some of my suggestions to bring around when you have people of varying experiences. I would love to know what you do in this situation, because I know that there are more people with groups that have a lot of variety in them, because it's really hard to find a group of people that all have the same interests. We're all different and wonderful. And with that, I leave you. Goodbye.
Last week we were a little sad to talk about the end of fun again. This week I'm sad to talk about the end of another institution, and that is Toys R Us. They just announced that they are closing, which is kind of a sad thing, because who doesn't like Toys R Us? Toys R Us is a place that I, as a child, when I was a child, not now I'm an adult and grown up and...
What segment are we in? Tom thinks.
Well,
all I want to say is it was
get out of here.
Toys R Us. What does Tom think about this pen?
So, Toys R Us, well, but in all seriousness, Toys R Us was a magical wonderland to me when I was a kid. I would remember my parents and grandparents would take me there. There were other places like Kitty City and KB, but Toys R Us was king. It's just the way things are now. Toys R Us is going away, and it's the end of an era. For the last 20 years, we kind of made fun of Toys R Us in their game section to go in. But as time has gone by, Toys R Us was getting better. King of Tokyo and other good games were there. You can still go get Magic the Gathering. And I'm sure many board game geeks are going to go rush there to buy games and say, yeah, this is the end of, I can get some cheap games. But it's really the end of an era. And I kind of miss that time, Sure, I like to shop online at Amazon. Sure, I like to go to the toy sections at Target and Walmart and other places. But I miss Toys R Us. I miss the big toy departments of like department stores in the days gone by. But it's the end of an era. So, life goes on, We're not always happy with changes. But I am thankful for Toys R Us. Some of my favorite games from a childhood come from Toys R Us. Some of my greatest moments have been just wandering around in Toys R Us wanting things. And even now, when I take my kids to Toys R Us, which is kind of sad because I'm not going to be able to do it much longer, when I take them there, I still kind of wander around and look at the toys, end up in the board game aisle, end up in the Lego aisle. So they've done a lot for gaming. So we want to thank them, and we wish them, good luck to all the employees there. Who knows what's going to be next, but thanks a lot, Toys R Us. I am a Toys R Us kid.
Hello everyone, my name is Annette, and you may know me as Netter's Place. And today on Applied Mechanics, I'm going to go over the game of Hardback. So this card game is a word game where you're trying to spell different words. However, it's also a deck builder. So let me show you a little bit about this game and why I really like it. So here you have the whole setup of the game. Each player is going to have a starting deck, and the first thing they'll do is draw a hand of 5 cards. So on your turn, you're going to try to spell a word with the letters in your hand. These cards will also give you benefits like coins or points, and you can always use the coins in order to purchase other cards that are in the offer row at a certain price. This price right here is 6 coins, but it will give you even more benefits and a new letter to add to your deck. If you ever get stuck and cannot spell a word, then you can always flip over the card and it becomes a wild. It represents any letter in the alphabet. If you ever spell a word where you have cards that have the same genre or type, then they will synergize and they will benefit one another. So instead of just gaining the top benefit of the card, you also get the bottom benefit of both cards. The game also lets you play with these ink tokens. The black token will allow you to draw more cards, but you have to play those cards on your turn. But if you also play it along with a white ink bottle, then you can just draw that into your hand, and you don't have to play that card. If you ever play with a Timeless Classic card, then you can just place this card in front of you. You don't have to discard it, but you also offer it to your opponents. So as you can see, this game is not just about collecting letter cards and forming words. What you're trying to do is build an engine through deck building. You're trying to build these different synergies in the cards that you're collecting, and you're trying to have these perfect combinations in your hand. Also, what I really enjoy about this deck builder is the fact that these cards can be flipped over and used as wild letters. So if you ever get stuck in spelling these different words, well, you don't need the specific letters. You can make the cards wild. And that's why I really like this game. Well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!
Happy breakfast, everybody. Today I'm going to talk to you about a game that I think Tom and Eric missed off their cute games list from the recent Dice Tower podcast. Now, they did mention Tekken Oko, one of my favourite games when it comes to cuteness, because of the pandas. And then the community also voted for Sushi Go Party, which also with the faces is just kind of cool. But I think they missed this game, Origami, and it's mostly because of the artwork that the theme is so cute. The game revolves around sets of animals, and as you might have guessed, they're all origami shapes that are making up these animals. The artwork's just absolutely great to look at. It's not anything overly flamboyant, but it's almost the simplicity that gains the game that cuteness. Throughout the game, you're going to be spending the folds on cards to purchase other ones, and building up two piles of the animals in front of you. You always have to do one then the other, so if it's got a special power that's really strong, you're going to lose it quite quickly. Depending on the number of players, that's the number of sets of animals that you're going to be including. Now there's 5 different sets making up 90 cards, and in a 2-player game you're only going to be using 2, so you've got quite a lot of variety. But even in a 4-player game, there's still going to be 1 set of animals left in the box. So the replayability is there, and it means you're still going to see a different type of animal coming out the box in another game, and actually appreciating that artwork. Anyway, I think Origami is a game that Tom and Eric missed when they were talking about cute games. Let me know in the comments section below if you agree, or if you think there was any others that they missed that I should check out. Anyway, I'm Oliver East, signing out.
Hi everyone. Ever since I was a kid, I wanted to be a spy. Spies do cool stuff in great worldly cities, just like on TV and in the movies. By the way, there is this new spy series on called The Looming Tower, which I really enjoy. It's got some cool spy stuff in it. You might want to check that out. But right now, I do cool stuff in great worldly cities. Yesterday, I played this lovely show in the city of Rotterdam. Okay, I don't look like a super spy. My body is not that of a super spy, although we are trying to fix that. Dan and Mike are starting this Monday. This scale is broken, where we try to beat ourselves in losing some weight. But let's go back to the news. This week in England, a former Russian double agent and his daughter were attacked by nerve gas. Now, that part of the job I would like to avoid at all cost. This week I am playing a game that brings all of the tension and the pressure of being a spy, but without the dangers. This week I am playing Spyfall. Spyfall is a social deduction game where each player receives a card with on it the name of a location. The locations are things like theaters, military base, or hotel. Everyone gets the same location, except if you're the spy. Then the only thing you read is spy. And the goal of the game is for the spy to blend in, or for the other players try to figure out who the spy is. Players are asking questions to each other, like, what's the weather like, or what are you having for dinner tonight? And if you are giving an answer, you always try to give enough information that the other person knows that you are in on the location. But you also want to tell as little as possible so the spy doesn't get to figure out where he or she is. I love this game. It puts so much tension and pressure on just a very small question. I know it's not for everyone. If the pressure gets too much, then you probably won't like it. But I really like Spyfall. For me, it's really a hit. Thanks for watching. My name is Dave Luza.
Hey Internet, it's Steve Tassi again from Snakes and Lattes. Here I am in our brand new Snakes and Lattes Midtown location. And new location, new segment. Game versus game. Splendor versus Century Spice Road.
This is a game where you acquire cards so you can actually do things, versus a game where you acquire cards so you don't have to do things.
My game has bougie nobles that you have to curry the favor of. That sounds appealing.
So there's a market of cards in this one. You're gonna pass by, you spend as many cubes as you want off your caravan, and then you're able to acquire those cards for future usages. The game also has the ability to take naps. Does your game have naps?
Gemstones are forever. Spices go stale, Dan. Who wants stale spices?
Caravans only hold so many things, so you have to be careful because you have to have the right amount of cubes. Cards will let you upgrade your cubes, change them, do all sorts of other stuff.
And look, wild gems. Does your game have wild spices?
I've got cinnamon, I've got cardamom, I've got saffron, and I've got turmeric. What do you have? Rubies?
And my ultimate argument, clinky chips.
Cubes and cups.
Clinky chips.
Cubes and cups. Cubes and cups. Cubes and cups.
Hi, I'm Scott, and if you liked Snakes and Lattes videos, you should watch more videos. You should subscribe, which is right there, and you should like them, which is right there, and you should share them, which is there, and there, and there. I'm just pointing at stuff. I don't know what they're gonna do in post.
Hey, this is Mike with the Board Game Makeover. In a previous episode, I showed you how I took Scrabble Travel Edition and turned it into Azul 2-player Travel Edition. Well, in this episode, I'm going to show you in one easy step with multiple sub-steps on how I went from this to this. Let me show you what I did. The first thing you're going to want to do is find one of these Travel Edition Scrabbles. Now, we're going to have to get this grid away from this. Hear that? I'm basically breaking the plastic a little bit and popping off that little thing that was holding it there, that plastic round piece. You do that to each one. So the grids are out and I reverse the paper on the back. What we want to do next is we're going to create this. This is a picture of the player board rearranged so that it'll fit on this paper. Now to create this, I had to take a picture of a Azul player board that I already own. And let me emphasize that because I will not make a makeover of a game that I don't already own. You're going to want to cut out your player boards, and then we are going to glue it the correct orientation onto this. And then after you do that, you just slide them back on. And actually, it sticks in there pretty good because the old plastic pegs are still going through, just not being held on tight. Now creating the tile pieces can be a little tedious. We have 100 here. I still need to cut out my tiles. After you've cut out all 25 of these, you're going to want to glue them. I'll just use a little paintbrush just to wipe the glue on and then leave it to dry. After they've dried, they should look a lot like this. And there you have it. Now just find your own custom case for it and take it with you when you go to conventions or out on a road trip, to the beach, to the park. So as you can see, going from this to this isn't very difficult at all if you know how to print out a couple things, cut a couple things, glue a couple things, and a little ingenuity here and there. But for the most part, this is a rather simple conversion. Well, to spice it up in a future episode, I'm going to merge these together. Thanks for watching the Board Game Makeover. I hope to see you next time.
Hello, my name's Dan, and this is Cora, and we're here to talk to you about games for young children. Now, today is very exciting because we're going to be talking about one of Cora's favourite games. What is it, Cora?
Speed-Color!
Speed-Color! Ready, steady, go. Speed-Color is a memory game where players are competing to colour in pictures. In the game, both players get a special glossy card with a line drawing on one side and a coloured in version of that drawing on the other. Both players study the coloured inside carefully to remember which colours go in which slot. Then, when they're ready, they flip the card over and use dry erase markers to colour in the line drawing. The first person to finish colouring in their card shouts stop. Then all the players put down their pens and get points depending on whether they're fully coloured in their various segments and if they've done them in the right colour. So Cora, what do you like about Speed-Color?
I like colouring and I like remembering
games, like it's colouring for kids and even a competition by colouring. It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. I've never seen a colouring game before. We put you like colouring in, don't you? There's something to do, but not as a game. And this does it really well. And it's a memory game as well, and it's a speed game, a race game, and the cards are really nice.
Guessing the lids.
Guessing the lids, yeah. You can do an advanced version, can't you? When you swap the lids around with the colours and things, and you can. So there's a bit of an element of guessing. Cora loves this. In fact, you were very keen to play it instead of recording this bit, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cora wants to play it again. So we give speed colours to colouring in thumbs up.
First of all, kind of want to just apologise about the video and sound quality of this video because the battery fairy absolutely just hates me. The battery fairy sucks. The life out of batteries. I'm also very tired. Anyway, pressing on, we'll be fine, we'll get on with it. Some people own hundreds of games, thousands of games, so many games, they have shelfies, and you know that person is a game pro. And I'm here to tell you, yeah, that's 100% absolutely cool, and I'm fine with it, and that's great. But just because your collection is 50 games or a shelf of games, 5 games, no games, that doesn't make you any less of a gamer. At the moment, my collection is about 40 games because I sold a whole bunch of them to pay for Dice Tower Con 2018, Taste the Rainbow, bring sun cream, you will die if you don't protect yourself from the penetrating sun of 1,000 fiery devils. The point I'm trying to make, because I'm good at words, is that just because you haven't got a collection of thousands of games or hundreds of games, it doesn't make you any less a part of the gaming hobby. To be part of the hobby, all you really need to do is love games. I just worry sometimes that people might feel inadequate or that they're not as part of the hobby and that their opinion doesn't matter because they don't own everything. This section got a bit weird. What is going on?
All right, that's it for another Board Game Breakfast. Thanks so very much for watching. This has been not probably one of our best episodes. Thanks to all the constant interruptions.
It's the first time.
Guys, I want to finish the stupid episode.
Great now? 10 more minutes. 10 more minutes.
Tom, are these gentlemen bothering you?
Yes.
All right, get out. You're out. You're out of here. Go.
She's scary. That's the problem. She's scary.
Thanks so much for watching. We're going to be at other conventions throughout this year. We hope to see you guys at some of them. CMON in May and Origins and Dice Tower Con. Dice Tower Con, sign up, come. You'll see antics like that there. Those guys are putting a show on there. Also, Dice Tower Cruise, there's only a few seats left, so make sure you get in on that. And join our Dice Tower Facebook group. All kinds of cool stuff coming up. I'll see you next time. Until then, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast.